I just got the pop-up. I don't know what. There is some function in the comment section. I don't know. Anyway, good morning. Today is day 7. I was gonna say 6, but today's 7. Today's 7. Yeah, today's day 7. And today is actually Saturday. So it's weekend. So I was going to do the live stream a little later. Hello. But I have to get going soon. おはようございます. So I am starting early. So it's almost 9 here in Japan. And I have to go out after this live stream is over, and I'm thinking if I can. Hi Tennessee, go Team Berry, and Dawn, go Team Berry. So I may do a quick walking around live stream. The area, or maybe not specifically, because I can't really reveal where I'm going because it's business related. So I might step out a little bit, and then I'm going to, if I can find something a little fun near that area but doesn't give away the specific area that I'm going to. So I won't do the same spot I'm going, but like somewhere nearby, maybe. If I can find something. I found some like shrine that I want to visit, but I don't know how interesting, how big it'll be. But so I will see what's out there, and if I can find something interesting, then I will do a quick live stream. But maybe it's going to be very late at night for some of you guys, so for now we can do advent calendar. So I like trying to, like, scatter them around the tree, because like I only had like on the one side. And but like I need something non-face today. I have too many faces. I have 2 Santas, 1 snowman, and snowman's kind of stuck, and a bear. So hiya. Okay. Seven. It's vertical. If it's vertical, then there's a possibility of having another face. Let's see. Did I destroy it? I destroyed the box. Oh, I was right. But we got new face today. No. It's a new face, right? It's a clown, right? Is it a clown? I thought it was a clown. Is it a clown? Wait. No, it's a snowman. I thought it was a clown. Aw. This was a clown. No, this is a snowman. It looks like a clown. Snowman. So I got the second snowman. At least the color is different. This one is a red. I want like a normal snowman. Why does these snowmen has X for eyes, not round eyes? That's why it look. No, I think it's because it's red. That's why I thought it was clown. Christmas clown. I have never built a snowman because I'm from the southern part of Japan. So yeah, it's kind of creepy looking. There's like one day it was so cold, and then we had a little bit of snow, and then we were still kids, so we were so excited because we have seen snow, but like we never seen snow on the ground. And but it wasn't enough to make a snowman. So what we did was that we would gather a little bit of snow on the edge of the street, and then like trying to make like tiny ones. I remember that. But that's the most snow experience of my life. I mean, yeah, I lived in Missouri, so one year we suddenly had this heavy snowstorm in March. I think that was right before like a short spring break, and school got canceled. And that was like I think the snow goes up to my knee, something like that. So that was the another time it was like that was only my like heavy snow experience. But then, well, it was too cold. I didn't want to stay outside and make a snowman. Some people did though. But like when it's snowing, it's fine. But when it's not, eh, I'll just say like it's a clown snowman. Hi, Billy. Go Team Mary. So you can make new eyes for the snowman. I know, like I think I don't know. The having like X's for eyes for snowman, that doesn't look like a snowman. Snowman should have like a round eyes. I don't know why. Anyway, so today, one, I don't have much time, so I want to jump right into my topic for today. And since Japanese quiz was kind of popular, I want to do a Japan's manners and rules and etiquette kind of quiz. Well, more like a trivia, I guess. So if you know anything, or if you want to ask me, like, so is this true? Like Japan is like blah 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 blah, and let me know in the comment section. Um, Kind of weird that there's so much white at the beginning of the calendar. Needs more color. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I need more color. That's true. That is true. A lot of white. And then I don't need more faces for a while. Tomorrow is 8th, right? 8th, 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 8th. Oh, tomorrow we might have something interesting because the shape is interesting. It's a little round. It's tinier, but. Oh, good question. Eating while walking, okay. I get a lot of these questions. And as far as I know, yes, that's fine. We have entire city or area built in the like design so that people can buy and then eat and walk. And so they would put small stuff on the skewer. Like they might have like a steak on the skewer or chicken, squid because it's Japan, fruits, right? And even if you want to get like a like fried chicken or something, it's served in a cup, so you can kind of like hold it and then eat like this. Um, the I haven't posted the picture that I took, but me and my friend visited a Kusatsu Onsen, Kusatsu Hot Spring before, and the onsen street is all about like eat and walk and explore, and so a lot of people are eating and walking. So either A, you would eat and walk, or when you are stopping, that's when the staff from the shop would come out and say, hey, if you want to stand outside and eat, you have to be kind of like near the store that you bought the food from. So a lot of people trying to like there's a street and then there are stores on the both ends, right? And then they go into this store to buy something and then they step outside and they're like, ooh, let's not try not to be in other people's way, and then they will walk across the street and then stand in front of the different store, and for some reason and so that time the staff from this store would come out and say, hey, you have to be in this side if you buy something from my store. And so people just like walk back and then hang out here, or you can just like walk around. The only problem, and then I think if you have visited Japan and then this is something that you would expect to be normal and it's not, is that we don't have trash cans on the street. So that was the my cultural shock for me when I was in the States, because well, on the internet people say like, oh, Japan is so clean, right? And then US kind of dirty. A lot of trash that you see. And so I was expecting that there's no trash can, because Japan doesn't have trash cans. And then when I went there are trash cans everywhere. But Japan, surprisingly, no. And the strong reason behind this, I believe, is that the Japanese trash separation is very strict. So we have plastic and a clean plastic and goes in here, and then we have like a dirty plastic. It has like a food stain on it, goes in here, and then burnables here. And then if you have like, even it's like a notebook or something, but if you have like a metal rings to put it together, and then that's not burnable, and you have to separate those two, and then the metal goes into the metal bin, and then the paper goes in the paper bin, and the newspaper, and then some sort of like batteries and all that. So if they want to have set up a public trash can, and they have to have maybe like 10 different trash cans, and so that's not really plausible, and even if they had many trash cans out, not so many people would care which trash would go where. And even ever since Shinjuku on Sunday morning, so I don't have to go to Shinjuku. I went to Shibuya the other day, and then even it doesn't have to be early morning either. It was a very, very trashy place. But yeah, so it's not like Japan is like, oh, Japan is so clean. Like, I don't believe that. It's just like where it depending on where you go, and what time of the day you go. But yeah, so people don't follow the rules, of course, because it's not their house, and so that means they have to hire the trash collector, and they basically have to redo everything that people did, right? So that's, I guess, one of the strong reasons why we don't have trash cans. And it was kind of funny because I was googling Japan rules, Japan's etiquette on my phone, and like Google lately has like this AI overview at the top of the search engine, like Google, I mean. And so this is like I think this is a no-no in Japan, right? And then one of those is like throwing away trash, right? And well, you shouldn't throw away trash in any countries, but then it's funny, it's expected to throw away trash at the convenience store. I like, no, you can't go to, yes, convenience stores have trash cans, but you cannot just bring trash into the convenience stores. Well, some people do, and then, sorry, I sometimes do, but sometimes the store staff would say like, no, 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 you can't bring in your personal trash into the store. The trash can is supposed to be for the customers who bought items there. And I mean, overall, from my experience, as long as you are not bringing in a bag of trash, like clearly you brought from home or something, and you should be fine. If it's like a little like wrap, onigiri wrap or something like that, and that should be fine. Da, da, da. Interesting. Generally speaking, do Japanese people sincerely believe in and follow their culture's manners because they are a good thing to do, or do they pretend to go along with them or whatever reason? Japanese people's mindset would be, I think, more like the latter. So some people, like most of the time, like we follow the rules because it's a good thing to do. However, Japanese people hate to be special, hate to be unique, hate to stand out. Hey, Asian. Asian drop bear, berry. And so we don't really care about the actual meaning or reason behind the rules. And the parents actually say that to their kids. So when kids go to the phase where like, oh, why do I have to do this? Why do you do that? Why, right? And then most of the parents will first try to explain it, and then they're just in the phase that they just want to say why. And so they just give up. But even if it wasn't for that phase, if there's like any company rules or like, any sort of rules that they just say, well, that's the rule. Everybody does it. So like I think Japan kind of falls into this like mindset that like, well, okay, so if some of you, if one of you just like accidentally fall off the cliff, do you guys follow them, right? So kind of like ostrich, right? But it makes sense though, because like I heard this phrase mini story to express the stereotype, or like the characteristic of each country. And so there is the boat that's sinking, right? And the only way to survive is to jump in the ocean. Well, I don't know if it's true or not. And so in order to encourage people on the boat to actually jump into the ocean, you have to know the right sentence, right phrase for each country, and then that should, you know, tell their characteristic. And so for example, for Americans, you said that like, oh, you can be a hero if you jump in the water, right? And for Japanese people, it was so funny because for Japanese people, oh, everybody is jumping in. If you say everybody is doing the one thing, and then they would usually follow. Oh, everybody buys this. Oh, everybody goes there. Everybody take this. Everybody do this. Everybody eats this. And they're like, oh, okay, if everybody's doing this, must be right. So, yeah. So that's the mindset. Okay. Other things. Other thing is like okay, so there is like an AI talking about tipping. So tipping is not a cultural thing in Japan. So there were times that I was working in a souvenir shop back home, a part-time job. And because I was only one who was able to speak English, so sometimes, well, oftentimes when we get a foreign tourists, and if they couldn't speak English at all, and then they would call me and say like, "Hey, Sherry, can you help?" And because I helped them, the sometimes the foreigner would say like, "Oh, keep the change." And I was like, no, I can't keep the change. I'll be in trouble. But they wouldn't understand that. So I have to like kind of like nicely explain it. It's like, no, as a company policy, we cannot accept any tip. But then like it's kind of I don't know. It doesn't matter how nicely you talk to them, you're rejecting the kind offer, so you feel bad, and then they feel bad that they don't want you to be in trouble, right? But tipping never ever been a, I don't know, I don't know why, but tipping, no. Also, um to get a to-go bag is also a little tricky. I haven't really done, like it's not to take away, but it's more like you dine in the restaurant, but it's the portion is too much, so you want to get the doggy bag. And the doggy bag is not really a thing in Japan. And but there are times, I think it was like the curry place with the naan and everything, and they usually serve a huge portion. And then there's the other time, I think it was a Thai food or something like that. So both of the time I did the takeaway. Um, oh no, thank you so much for Super Chat. Happy Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you, thank you. both of those were foreign restaurants. So there are foreigners working as well. And even if they're Japanese people, that they work with foreigners and they serve a foreign food, and so the mindset is a little bit like towards foreign, and so I was able to get the doggy bag, no problem. But when I asked my friend, like, so like, you know, Japan is becoming more like, you know, doggy bag friendly, and it's just like, no, 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 no. There are so many places that I went and I wanted to take some home, and they're like, no. The reason is because like they were worried about food poisoning. So Japan has this culture that to the store or school have to take responsibility for everything that happens. So if the customer take the food home and then they forget it in the fridge for a week and then they just eat it a week later and had food poisoning, and that's the store's fault. It's not. The customer forgot for a week and ate it, right? But that's why, and then of course the image is very important for Japanese people, Japanese business, right? And so um, a lot of stores don't want to do that. And for school, so if the kids go out on the weekend and then let's say the group of kids shoplifted at the convenience store, who do you think the fault is? Well, one, the kids, right? The kids should be old enough to understand stealing is bad. And two, parents. You think the parents would come number two. And a parent should be the one who is going to the police or going to the store and apologize and then discipline the kids. No, 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 no. When the store report any sort of like shoplifting or when there are trouble on the street and they found out all their kids, like high school students or whatever, then they will call one if it's severe crime and they will call the cops, sure. The second is school. They don't call the parents yet. So the teachers have to come to the scene. It doesn't matter if it's late at night, if it's on the weekend. My dad is a school teacher, and he suddenly has to go to like, you know, police office, police station so many times in his life because they call, and then they treat it as if like it's school's fault, right? Like the teacher's not gonna get paid for that time, and like why does teachers have to act like you know, like police or firefighter or those like, you know, it's terrible. So that's one of the reasons why Japan is suffering from the huge loss, huge lack of teachers at the moment. And so in order to become a teacher in Japan, it's actually very easy. And it shouldn't be this easy. So in the States, I don't know about the other countries. In the States, I had a couple friends who were majoring in education and they wanted to be teachers. And I know some of them who actually became teachers. And in the states, you have to, well, one have to graduate from university, and you have to pick a major, and you have to eventually, after graduating, you have to pick the states that you want to work in because every state has different tests, and then you have to pass the test in order to get the license. In Japan, there's no test, so you go to and study in the education department in any university you want. And also you can double major. It's more like a minor. Like education can be a minor. So it's that, I don't know, like it's that little of study that you have to do in order to graduate to have the certificate in the education department. And there's nothing that you have to choose. I think it was just a course. It's not like, you know, one other like big subject that you have to learn to be able to the teacher of that subject. It's just like a little course that you have to take. And cherry on top, once you graduate from the university, you're a teacher. There's no test. The only test that you have is when you are actually trying to get to hired by school. So they have like a test. It's not really a test. And then they don't categorize, like they don't care about how many points you get. They just want to see the personality. And they don't really want too smart of a person because they know that, oh, they're just taking a test just in case that they don't get any other good companies. So they're not like teacher type. So what they're looking is that the teachers, well, people who are not so smart enough to get into a normal companies, so that they have to compromise to become a teacher most of the time. Not all of them, but most of the time. And yeah, so sometimes like media would point out like this, especially in the COVID, they would focus on like a sport group, sport team, and then they are doing the COVID education, like, you know, you should do this, you should do that, don't do this, do that, kind of thing. And then they pointed out like one the players are like, oh, he has actually a license to become a teacher, blah 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 blah. And then like they're like, oh, he must be smart. Like, no. Usually education department of the department is the lowest rank in the all the departments that they have in that university. So I know so many of my friends that who went to education department just because they couldn't get into any other departments. So that's how that's what it is to become a teacher in Japan. And so, but then they have to work, I don't know, they basically have to get to school by 7 a.m. the latest. And then they would have they usually have the morning practice if you are supervising sport team, club activity. And then from 8 you have class until 4, and then you have club activity from 4 to usually 7 or 8. And then they have to stay until like midnight to prep for next day and grade tests. And then if any parents would just like, you know, come by or call them saying, or the cops call them and say, hey, your student is doing something bad in this street, you have to come out, and then they have to do that. So most of the time they get maybe like 4 hours of sleep every day, and they have to spend maybe like close to 20 hours in school. And yeah, so not so many want to be teachers anymore. And now they're saying like, oh, you don't have to have a license to become a teacher. Because I know that you have to go to 4-year university and major in education in order to get the license. But we just gonna waive that. So it's going to be terrible. It's going to be terrible. Like literally anyone can be a teacher now. So anyway, so that's the teacher story. Anything. Oh, this is good. Punctuality. I don't know, like if I miss any questions, sorry. Just copy and paste a few times. So Japanese, well, if you have come to Japan and travel around and you kind of know that everything is on time, like train is on time, right? But In the US, at least the standard for teachers has dropped a lot. Oh, since COVID, and the kids are suffering. Oh, I love my sister-in-law to death, but she should never been allowed to be near kids. Whoa. So I guess it's everywhere. It's not just Japan. Anyway, so punctuality is very important in Japan, and you can kind of see from the train schedule that the train is actually on time. Never be like to the second. I think they have like some sort of the timer or something, and they have to adjust, and then like just like 1 minute late, or like 30 seconds late is a punishable mistake. And I mean, I guess it's gotten a little bit looser since the accident. I don't know if you want to Google if you want. But there was an accident when I think I was born like maybe 20 to 30 years ago. There was like a young train driver, and he wasn't used to driving train. Of course, he's a new worker, and JR had a really strict rule about the time, and he always misses it by like 10 seconds or 30 seconds or something ridiculously small. And but at the time it was very strict, so it has to be on time, right? And he was young, so he had I think supervisor with him, and supervisor always yell at him like, oh, okay, you were late or you were too early, yada yada yada. And one day I think he was not, and then I think eventually he got old enough to drive himself, maybe after the training. But one time he was late, massively late, and he was panicking, and he's like, well, if you are late for the even like 10 seconds, you have to go through so much paperwork, right? And so he's like, oh no, I'm gonna be late, I'm gonna be in trouble, and this is not my first time, and then this time they're gonna yell at me. And he didn't see the car curve, and the curve he had to slow it down, but he was so panicking and he was overspeeding and basically derailed, and the train went straight into the apartment, and the driver died, and there are so many people in that train, of course, died and got injured. And then yeah, that was JR's responsibility, because they were pressuring him so much to the point where he couldn't drive in the like fine state of mind. And then also that was like huge incident. Not only that, but like I didn't know, but there is a mental state for the survivor of those like huge accidents, that even though they survive the accident, they somehow feel bad about the fact that they survived, and then other people had to die. And not all of them, but if you don't get the treatment from the professional, they start thinking of the guilt of surviving. And then there are some people who kill themselves afterwards. Yeah, survivor's guilt. And so that was a huge news all over Japan. And JR had to do the press conference, and then they have to like apologize to the public, and then they're like, well, we have to adjust the education flow, and they shouldn't be too picky about the time. So yeah, survivor's guilt is huge for us military people. Yeah. So I guess like in Japan, it doesn't really have like a military, and we don't send people to the war. And so oh, this is crazy. Hi Norm. Um, so I guess that was like a huge thing for us Japanese people, because we're not used to it. So if you had to make a reasonable estimate, how much would you Okay, Norm is lighting up the mood. But yeah, so that's why, not that's why, but so anyway, so Japan has been very strict on a punctuality. So when it's a, oh, I really have to go, so I'm gonna end soon. But when when you have to have a when you are meeting up with someone, when you have a restaurant appointment, anything, on time means 5 minutes before the time that you agreed on. However, meeting is a little tricky. There are two ways for the meeting, especially business meeting, or you're visiting a client. Some people say like you visit 5 minutes early, but then some people say, like, I hear this a lot more than like, go, you have to visit there 5 minutes before, but you have to be on time or 1 minute late. Oh, Tennessee, every time. Thank you so much. Gifted 5 memberships. Aw, you're so kind. But what can I say? So what was I saying? So if you are visiting a client, and then especially their office or house, and if you are expecting you at 10 a.m., and then if you show up 9:55, and then they might not be ready, maybe they have other meetings before you, and so you would show up there, but you don't knock on the door. You would wait outside until the 10 a.m. or maybe 10:01, and then you go in. But I hear some other people say like, oh, you should be there 5 minutes before. So depending on the person. Anyway, I really have to get going. Now I'm officially late. So, and then if I have time, I might do a walking around live stream later today. So if you can join, please join. And then thank you so much every morning. And then I will see you tomorrow.